live from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota. This is the Matt McNeil Show. Unfortunately, I'm not Matt. Matt is off today. We'll be back tomorrow. My name is JP Darabagosian, regularly hosting The Gailey Show and the GLAAD Media Award nominated This Queer Book Saved My Life, both of which air at 2 and 2:30 p.m. every Saturday afternoon. Joining me in the studio is Jim Pounds, my executive producer for both of those shows. And Patrick is also here on the board helping us out. Hi, Patrick.
How's it going, guys?
It is going well. I am very pleased for our next guest, Dale Stark, the Director of Marketing and Communications with Hennepin Arts, is here to talk with us about Hennepin Arts and all of the great things that they've coming out for us to go and see. So, Dale, welcome to the Matt McNeil Show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So glad to have you here. So you all have a show opening on October 15th, which, if my calendar is correct, is tomorrow.
Yes.
Tell us all about it.
24 hours now, yeah. We've got a brand new musical called Some Like It Hot playing through Sunday. It is based on the movie, and it is phenomenal. It's instant Broadway classic.
I can't believe it took this long to come up with a musical.
I think the movie came out in 1959, I think. Jack Lemmon was in it. Marilyn Monroe was in it.
Yeah.
The stage version obviously is a little bit different. First of all, it's in color. And they've got this amazing tap dance number in the middle of the show. And it's just, it has the same sensibilities of the movie where it's kind of a wacky caper. These two musicians witness a mob hit, and in order to escape Chicago, they need to disguise themselves as part of a touring all-female band. So with those gangsters hot on their heels, so to speak, chaos ensues.
Well, and the movie starred Jamie Lee Curtis's father. I guess we're getting to that age now where we don't refer to Tony Curtis, but Jamie Lee Curtis's father. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I wonder if she was older. I bet she's older now than he was in it when he was in it.
Probably.
Wow.
So
go ahead.
I was going to say when I saw this last spring, I think it was, and watching it. It feels like it's a revival because most people may be somewhat familiar, at least with the title. But while watching it, it feels like it's old classic Broadway, and it's a revival, but it's a brand new show. Mm-hmm. And so I think with that sort of big, grand production value, you feel like you're not necessarily watching another movie made into a musical. And I found that really interesting because it does kind of capture you right from the start and takes you all the way through, and you have a good time.
That's great. And in November, I'm just saying this to the person across the room from me here, I mentioned that Les Miserables is coming back, which is something that he has not seen live in the theater, and so we will rectify that in November, but that's also coming up.
Yeah, we'll have that show coming up in November for 2 weeks. We have Les Mis, or we've been having it almost every other year, right in that sort of sweet spot around Thanksgiving to Christmas. So, it's a heavy show. It's a long show. It's a powerful show, and it's certainly a great break from either the beginning of holiday stress or to the end of holiday stress. It's nice to escape, especially right now. Hopefully after the election, we'll be escaping to celebrate.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, so I have and I know Book of Mormon is coming after that, which is that at the State again? Because that's where we had seen it previously, was at the State. Is that at the State or in the Big House?
It's in the Big House.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had that for a week in December, right before Christmas, which again, it's maybe a little bit older, not quite the family of four There's some language in it, but it's been around for a long time. It's one of those shows that will just keep enduring time.
It's a crowd,
because it is.
It's a crowd pleaser, I would say.
Oh yeah, and it's incredibly funny.
Yeah.
So,
right.
And it also has sort of a big Broadway feel to it because they do have some really big Broadway song and dance numbers.
Right. Well, so tell us. I'm curious about. Hennepin Theater Trust was the name of the entity that really dominates Hennepin Avenue, the Orpheum, the State, the Pantages, and Dudley Riggs is still what's in my head, but that space on Hennepin Avenues. But now we're calling it Hennepin Arts. What is the impetus for that?
So, last June 14th, I remember that day fondly because we relaunched a brand new brand, Hennepin Arts. We relaunched a brand new website, and we went on sale with the musical Back to the Future. So that was a pretty busy day for Dale. But leading up to that was about a year to a year and a half of planning. We were able to pay off the city bonds with which held the lease over the 3 historic theaters on Hennepin Avenue. So that's the Orpheum, the State, and the Pantages. Mm-hmm. And we were able to pay those bonds off with another financer, which meant that there was kind of a trickle-down effect because of holding a city lease required X, Y, and Z. Right. And suddenly X, Y, and Z were gone, and we were able to sort of merge several different entities under the Hennepin Theater Trust umbrella. And that took about 18 months leading up to just this past July 1st. So now everything, every staff person, every operation, every arm of the previous organizations are all housed now under Hennepin Arts. So when we were going through that sort of merger, we were also coincidentally looking at a brand refresh, which led to a complete overhaul. And we spent many, many Zoom meetings talking about sometimes the most boring things in the world, like fonts and, whether or not the little serif on a font should be smaller or bigger. But there was a lot of very in-depth research and work and inspection done on across the board on all our properties. So we felt that Hennepin Arts was a little more representative. By not having theater in the name, we were being more inclusive of the arts that, for instance, public art, like street banners, street murals, education programs. And when people think of theater, they may mostly think of Broadway or musicals. Obviously, we've got a lot more than just musicals on all our stages. So it did not go lightly. There was a lot of work involved, and it's been a lot of fun. And I will say this is sort of a way random side note, but when we went to Hennepin Arts, a lot of us were very happy because we were removing the word theater from our email addresses. So in the past, we would always have to be like dale.stark@hennepintheatertrust.org, theater with an R-E. We had to add that every single time we gave an email address out. So now it's just Hennepin Arts. So it's super easy and, easy to find us on the web, or easy to find our website. So it's been a little challenging in terms of really corralling all of that. On top of all of that, we also welcomed a brand new CEO and president last June, Todd Dusing, who just came in with this boldness and this vision of what can be. And so it's been exciting and it's been tiring all at the same time.
And from a theater goer's perspective, there's not really a noticeable change. It's more like internally streamlined. Is that right? I mean, or will there be new programming or new locations or new? Would it be something that the theater goer will recognize?
Well, hopefully we'll see a more consistent customer experience throughout the 3 theaters, as well as the Dudley Riggs Theater. Prior to the merger, Dudley Riggs was it's on an island by itself, and now that's been folded into all of the operations of our 3 historic theaters.
Yep.
And having a little bit more of a direct line of oversight, management, communication with front of house staff, bartenders, concessions, ushers, ticket takers, box office. We're hoping that we'll start seeing more cohesiveness. So if someone goes to the State and then goes to Dudley Riggs, they're going to have a very similar experience.
Interesting. That's interesting.
When I moved to the Twin Cities, it was just so delightful to see the commitment to the theatrical arts, I guess, going from the Theater Trust to Hennepin Arts, that it was just, it is really special to see the shows that you're programming and bringing in, but also just how accessible Minneapolis, downtown, and you all make it for folks to be able to go and see these shows. We're really lucky, I think, to have Hennepin Arts right here in our metro area and serving us here on Hennepin Avenue. Dale, tell us, how do people get tickets to Some Like It Hot?
Oh, Hennepin, gosh, it's still taking a while not to say Hennepin Theater Trust, but if they go to hennepinarts.org, they can navigate right to the Some Like It Hot page and buy their tickets there through Ticketmaster. Or if you want to save on fees, you can always go to the State Theater box office, Monday through Friday, 12 to 5. That might be a little better. You do save those fees, and then you do get a little bit more service in terms of picking out your seats. Yeah. So you don't necessarily feel that rush. I've got to click purchase before these seats go.
Yep.
So
as a theater goer, I love the State Theater box office, and I highly recommend people do that. And it's worth the extra effort to talk to somebody and you have a little back and forth and feel like you walk away with what you were looking for and what you were hoping for. So the service there is great, and I highly recommend doing it in person if you can, if it's practical.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so excited because with the merger and everything, those box office people are amazing. They're stellar. They're the front line.
Yep.
They're the ones that will get thanked like crazy when someone gets a really great pair of seats, and they're the ones that will be yelled at when they realize that they've come late and they have to wait for a hold.
Yep.
So it is, like you said, you get that experience before you even step foot in the theater, and that's we're hoping to really maximize that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, and then, we also have a student rush 2 hours before showtime at the Orpheum Theater, $40. You can buy up to 2 tickets for students and educators with ID. Cash only.
That's good to know. I mean, I'm not in education anymore, but I'll let my former colleagues know about that. Dale Stark, Director of Communications and Marketing at Hennepin Arts. Thank you very much for joining us on the Matt McNeil Show.
Thank you so much. Bring me back anytime.
Absolutely.
I'm always happy to talk.
Well, folks, we are going to take a break here. When we come back, we are giving away tickets to Harry's Situation with the amazing trans comedian and storyteller Alok. Will be here on October 23rd. So stay tuned. We'll see you after this quick break.